guys? You're watching the Quezt, and I'm your host, Robert Dylan Vasquez. Robert Dylan Vasquez. what's up, guys? We're out here for episode 22. It is 6/11/21, and this will be my last solo quest for a while because my brothers are coming. The British are coming. The British are coming. Food bill's about to go up. Electricity bill's about to go up, but they're the most important thing to me. You bet I'll take them on. At the same time, I'll I love my brothers, man. They're coming up for the summer. They down in Florida right now. They're gonna catch a flight. They gonna catch business class. I ain't putting them in first class. I'm excited for them to come, man. We get to eat and fuck around. I'm gonna take them to the Comedy Zone. I'm gonna write and hopefully work on this a little bit. Super excited. Shout out to Hank and Eli. Fuck you, Eli. Boom. Fillet of fish. I did go to the Comedy Zone last night. Now there was a little sign up drama that I had going on because now on Facebook they have the Jokes Out Loud page, and it's sign up online, so I don't have to beat the traffic on Thursdays anymore. So Wednesday morning I get this, and I'm like sick, and I sign up for Thursday. Now I'm racking my brain all Thursday, like what's my set gonna be, and I'm writing it. I'm doing my best to add the tweaks and stuff to it. Really nervous, really don't want to go up, just really panicky. So I get to the Comedy Zone because I go anyways, because I conquered my inner bitch, because I just go, because I would regret not going more than just going and doing I would regret not going way more. And so I go, and I find myself there, and I'm waiting in line, and there's this comic in front of me. He drove all the way from Pickens to perform at the Comedy Zone, and he's telling her, yeah, I drove from Pickens, and he's putting up an argument because I didn't hear what she had told him, but apparently there's no open mic on the nights that they do a competition, and last night just happened to be a night that they did competition. So she's telling him that, and he's like, but I drove all the way from Pickens, and everybody's supposed to just be like, oh, okay, well, I guess we'll just let you go. That's mean. But so I'm like, oh hell no. I just like I would DoorDash or something. I pull out my phone because I screenshotted my receipt. It's like, hey, you signed up for the open mic, a little 3 to 5 minute set on this date, and I look at the date, and it wasn't yesterday's date. Woo! It was meant for next Thursday, so I will be at the Comedy Zone next Thursday. So I see that it says the 17th and not the 10th. And so he steps out of the way. I go up, and she's like, oh, and she recognizes me, and she goes, oh, did you just hear what I told him about the open mic? And I'm like, yeah. I'm here to support. I'm here to see my boy Kirkland. Shout out to Kirkland Manning. Killed that shit. On to the next round. And she goes, oh my God, that's so awesome that you come out and support. I'm all about supporting local comedy. I spent my little $10 and I sat there by myself. I got called out by Josh with the beard. That's what his name is. Josh with the beard. Anyways, I'm sitting there all alone, just admiring. I got my bottle of water, and like I've told you guys before, most comics that go on stage, they don't really pick out the other comics in the crowd because they don't want them to be funnier than them. But when you light up a comic in the crowd, you're giving them free reign. You're giving them free reign to just say whatever. So he didn't know that I go there often, sometimes. And so he was like, oh, dude, what are you doing sitting alone? That's some serial killer shit. That's some school shooter shit. And I got to sit there and take it. Because he doesn't know any better. I don't want to say anything, But afterwards, I go into the back. Afterwards, I go into the back, and I'm just chilling where all the other comics are. And some familiar faces say hello. Jazz. Josh with the beard actually came up, and he, knuckle touched me because he didn't know. And he was just like, "What's up, man? What's up, big guy?" or some shit like that. And this comedian that I admire a lot, her name is Shelly. Shout out to Shelly Belly. She's a local comic that goes there, pretty often, and she kills all the time. She calls her vag her poontang, and that goes over well with the female audience members for some reason. Start calling it poontang. And she comes up to me, and I didn't know that she even knew I existed. And I know that's some like, oh, I didn't. But she comes up to me, and she's like, "I see what you do here." And I'm like, what? Because when Josh with the beer was making fun of me, all the attention, was directed towards me. And so the comics got to see, like, oh, shit, he's here. And so she walks up to me, and she's like, "I see what you do here." And I'm confused. I'm like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "You sit over there and you study." No. But I had never really done that before. I usually just kind of agree with the person so they'll shut up and leave me alone. But I was like, oh, no. I'm here on the wrong night. I was supposed to go up tonight, and it wasn't supposed to be tonight. It was supposed to be next week. And she goes, "Oh, bless your heart." She's so nice, bro. She's like, "Bless your heart." She's like, "I love seeing you perform." And I'm like, stop. You don't have to do that. I really genuinely like seeing her perform because she just gives no fuck. Shout out to Shelly Belly. I'll put her socials in my bio, link in bio. / I'll be at the Comedy Zone next week. Shout out to Hank and Eli. Shout out to Shelly Belly. Another shout out. / shout out to Logan Paul, dude. Okay, I want to start off by saying this. Anything that the Paul brothers do from now on, I'm a part of. Consider me like you have Dylan Sprouse, Cole Sprouse. I'm Robert Sprouse. Like, I love the Sprouse brothers. Anything that they do, I'm behind them. I might not watch Riverdale. And I might not watch the Chinese films that Dylan Sprouse stars in. But I like the Sprouse brothers. The Paul brothers, if the Sprouse brothers are right here, the Paul brothers are up here. Call me Robbie Paul. Because I'm a Paul brother now. After seeing what Logan did with Floyd, regardless of, Floyd is old, Floyd carried him, Floyd did all this, just the fact that he was even in there is an inspiration in itself. Jake is, I feel like, a way better boxer than Logan is, and I can't wait for him to fight Tyron Woodley. So I'm down with Logan and Jake Paul. And don't give me any controversies or what they've done. I don't care. Robbie Paul. / move on to the imprint of the week. I have nothing else to say about that. If I could drop this mic right now, I would. How about that? On to the imprint of the week. What would be the most embarrassing superpower you would hate to admit to having if it meant helping the Avengers / Justice League save the world? Okay. So, worst case scenario, the Avengers or the Justice League need my help. And I have a power that will defeat the villain, but it's not a power I'm actually, or it's not a power that I'm proud of having. I'd probably be like my little brother Eli and have super heavy earwax sludge. Like the kids in middle school used to call Eli Italian dressing because he... So that's what I would do. It would be like quick acting cement, and I would just be like... and it would like concrete stick their ankles to the floor and be like, no. Or like I'd be like, and it would like wrap them up, and they'd be like, ah. Definitely, dude. And they'd be like, how did you even obtain your powers? And I'd be like, it's just years of not cleaning, you know. Oh, quick unlocking memories. So I was with my ex-girlfriend, and we were at her cousin's house. Nick and her cousin shared a little apartment. Shout out to my boy Nick. And so we're sitting on the couch, and I'm like laying my head in her lap, and she's like, oh my God. I'm like 16 at this point, max. And she goes, "Oh my God, your ears are so dirty." And I'm like, all right. And so I got my head in her lap, and she's like, "Let me clean them." And I'm like, "I don't know." And she's like, "Come on, let me clean them." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. Whatever." And she's my girlfriend, whatever. And so she gets a Q-tip, and she's like, I'm telling you, like, head and lap. And so she's cleaning my ears, and I say, "Ow." Now, it's not like I was the toughest guy, but I definitely ain't no bitch. So when I say "ow," and you're in a fucking really important orifice, is that what it is? Did I just nail that word? When you're in my fucking ear hole and I say "ow," you would stop, right? I would stop. But that's not what happened. So I say "ow," and she says, "Stop being a baby." Okay. I guess I'll just stop being a baby then. So she continues to clean it out a little more. And so she said, "Okay, all done." And I sit up. And everything's all gooch. Everything's Gucci in the coochie, you know? Shout out to Jordan. Um and so my mom picks me up. I get in the car, and I'm just looking in the mirror, like the passenger side mirror. Just, looking out the window. And I just start to see blood leaking down my neck from my ear hole. And I text her immediately, and I'm like, "Guess what's bleeding? My ear." Not my ear, my ear. And it was kind of like one of those, like, I fucking told you. Like, that's why you listen to, I almost fucking lost it there for a second. Anyways, hey, we're all good. Let's calm down. That was a quick little unlocking memories. But yeah, earwax sludge. That would definitely be number one, the most realistic for me. And then number two, the most embarrassing to admit. Like, nobody wants to admit that. They'd be like, "How did you obtain this?" It's just years and years of not being up to par, hygiene-wise. Slash, dude. Leave that one in the fucking dust. Question. Favorite meal as a kid? Now, the questions are either meant to make you think or to make you feel. And this one makes me feel. Because it flashes me back. It flashes me back to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It flashes me back to Surf Ninjas. It flashes me back to visiting my grandma in Cuba, Missouri. So I would visit my grandma on my mom's side. Not every summer, but if I was going to go, it would be for the summer. And so this is before I was even 7. And so I was visiting my grandmother in Cuba, Missouri. And she would always make 2 things. Well, she wouldn't make them. But 2 things always stood out meal-wise at her house. My favorite things. I would just eat bullshit when I was with my parents. But 2 things. Vienna sausages, or Vienna, however you want to fucking pronounce it. Vienna sausages, and the normal kind. You pop it, you drain the juice, and then you eat them like that, straight out of the can. That's it. And then you got Grammy grits. Now, I didn't call them Grammy grits at the time. Didn't really call them Grammy grits until I was like 22, when I had to explain to Miranda what the fuck Grammy grits were. Because people in the South like butter and cheese in their grits. Now, I'm talking about instant grits now. And so, Grammy's grits, we out here in the Midwest, we out here in Missouri. Actually, it's like directly in the middle. And so, she would make the instant grits with the boiling water or the hot water, the grits, and then she put butter, milk, and sugar in it. And dude, it's the perfect concoction. I think so. I thought it was awesome. It's my favorite way to eat grits. Some people tried to turn me on to like Louisiana style shrimp and grits. I think that's delicious as well, but it's not topping Grammy's grits. And I tell them what's in it. I tell them what I put in it, and they're like, "Oh, that's disgusting. Do you think that you would like cream of wheat?" What? No, I don't know what that is. I always think of like some kind of like Chunky's chicken noodle soup, kind of like cream of mushroom or something. I don't know what I think, but they're like, "Do you think you would like cream of wheat?" No, I like Grammy's grits with the sugar and the butter and the milk, 2%. And people just get their fucking minds blown. They put cheese and they're like, I'm gonna add some salt and let me throw some shrimp in there. I'm like, what is wrong with you? It's either that or cereal. But favorite meal as a kid, definitely Grammy's grits. And Vienna sausage. I always call them Vienna. I don't know where the discrepancy lies in their pronunciation. But yeah, man. Good ass UFC fights this weekend. I know I haven't talked about the UFC fights in a minute. If you are not gonna watch the UFC fights this weekend, you are missing out. We got Izzy Adesanya versus Marvin Vettori. That's a second fight. It's the second fight. Marvin Vettori, Izzy Adesanya 2. Another second fight, Davison Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno. That was a war. And so that's a really good one at 125. And then I forgot the last one, but I just remembered. Nate Diaz versus Leon Edwards at 170. 5 rounds. It's a non-title fight, but it's still 5 rounds. For those of you who care. Good ass UFC fights this weekend. Question. What did you have as a kid? What was your favorite meal as a kid? For my brother Hank, it was microwavable burritos. Like the fucking ones with like 12 in them. What was that brand? El Tormente, because that's all I did to his fucking body, dude. It turned little skinny diaper Hank into the big Sasquatch guy I know now. Microwavable burritos, radiation and beans, you know. Slash. On to unlocking memories. I saw my boy Mike today. Shout out to Mike. He was like, you got what you were going to talk about tonight? And I'm like, yeah, I got a couple things. He's like, bro, you got to talk about, you got to talk about this. And so, here you go, Mike. Unlocking memories this week brought to you by my boy Mike. All I have written down is, you're a wizard, Harry. And so, this was a period in my life. Let me go back. I had quit recreationals because I needed to get a job, like a good job. And I had a good job, but I was working through the temp agency, and I was dabbling in recreationals. So I stopped that so I could pass all of my drug tests leading into the hire-on process. And to do that is not difficult at all. You just have to have your priorities straight. Some people can't do that. And that's where it gets silly, and that's why I'll talk about this. Sorry. I gotta get this out of the way. And so, I've always been a man of priorities only because I like money. And I like being safe, and I like having the security of the lights are on. The bills are paid. There's no better feeling in the world than everything just being cool, calm, and collected. Like as far as your attitude, it's just how you walk through life, dude. If you're all jittery and you're spazzing all over the place, dude, you're not going to be an easy person to talk to. And you're definitely not going to be a fun person to talk to. But I like everything cool, calm, and collected. I don't like any surprises. I like to be on top of stuff. Doesn't always happen. Life throws curveballs at you. But for the most part, if there are any roadblocks in your life, it should be because of you. You shouldn't let outside influences, whatever, get all spiritual and preach to the choir. But you have to be responsible. You have to have priorities. And so I quit recreationals that would be long lasting in my system. So likely I picked up drinking as my state of inebriation, which is not always a good substitute, especially when you're dabbing in recreationals often and you replace the inebriation with drinking, and it's just not a good combination. So I was at the mall just chilling, and I was living in my car at the time, so I didn't really have any destination. I would just hang out in places and then just fall asleep wherever I was. And so I was at the mall, and my boy Mike calls me, and he's on his way to the mall. He's going to go get some shoes or something, some double XL jersey that he can't fit, whatever. And so he calls me up, and he's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just chilling, brother. And that was the truth. I was just chilling, listening to music or YouTube or whatever. But I had a pint of Fireball, and that was my go-to at the time. It's just Fireball. It was $7 or something for a pint, and it was either that or 2 Budweiser Tall Boys a day. Like every day after I got off work, 12 hours, it was just like, boom, here comes the inebriation. And so, like I said, it was either a pint of Fireball or 2 Tall Boys. And he calls me, and he's like, all right, well, I'm on the way. I'm going to be at the mall and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, sick. I'm already at the mall. So he arrives at the mall, and I made it a point that I was probably halfway through the pint of Fireball, and I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to finish this thing. So I have my chaser, whether it was root beer or whatever at the time, and I down the Fireball, and he gets there. And we walk in, and everything's cool in the gang. I'm having a good old time. I think it has something to do with my social anxiety. I don't like to go out in public like that. I hate people, but I love people at the same time. I believe in humanity to a certain extent. And backtracking. No. So I'm just having a good old time with my boy Mike Burke in the mall. And he can tell that I'm drunk. And I can tell that I'm drunk. I'm Robbie Drunkard. That's what I do best. I make a fool out of myself. I'm not putting anybody's life on the line. I'm not causing too much of a scene. But he's like, man, I gotta piss. And so in the bathroom of the mall, there's just this long hallway. And so he's walking down, probably in some kind of Dolphins colored outfit. And I'm just following him, just, shooting the shit, talking to him. And the men's bathroom is so packed. Now, I'm telling this story, and Mike Burke probably tells this story a little better because I see it as an innocent move, and he sees it as some kind of like, you almost got us killed. We eat box, And so we walk into this busy men's bathroom. All right, there's like 3 stalls, 2 urinals, and everything is full. And so there are some characters in this bathroom. And when I say characters, I mean, bro, people that God was just like fucking here, bro. Like, God, don't you think you want to put a little more work into this person? And he's like, this is all I got. And one of the urinals open up, and I'm just like, you gotta go. No. One of the stalls open up. Somebody was blowing the fuck out of this stall, right? And one of the stalls open up, and I'm like, you gotta go. And Mike's just like, oh, he's being so obnoxious. He's letting the situation get to him or something. And it is built up. And this is the part where it gets me lost. He does such a better job at telling this story than I do. But he eventually gets frustrated with me. He doesn't want anything to do with me. And he eventually goes. And he stands across on the other side of the wall, and we're looking at each other. And this character walks in between us. He had been at the urinal, and then he washed his hands, and he's walking out. And this is what I remember specifically, because I'm half drunk. He remembers this story like the back of his hand, and I remember this flash. This white guy was walking through, and he was just hefty, looked like the biggest cum sock on this fucking earth, right? His face is tatted, and he had like a sky blue, very poorly etched lightning bolt, like in the middle of his unibrow, like from like the top of the bridge of his nose to like the middle of his forehead, and it was thick. It wasn't even thin. It was this thick ass lightning bolt and all these other face tats. And I see him, and Mike sees him. And this guy who had the fucking tattoo on his face had seen himself in any and every mirror that he's ever looked in since he got the tattoo. And in my drunken stupor, I look over at Mike, and I'm like, "You're a wizard, Harry." And I think I'm being quiet. My whisper, the Vasquez boys can't whisper. My brother Eli, he always used to whisper to my mom, and he'd be like, "Mom, Robert, like, dude, you're the fucking worst whisperer on the planet." But I'm trying to tell Mike, look at this guy's tattoo. He looks like a fucking methed out Harry Potter. But drunk Robert isn't saying that. Drunk Robert is saying, "You're a wizard, Harry." And I swear, 90% of the stories that I have with Mike, he always ends up like hating me in the moment, but he, like going back on the story, he loves it. So this one time we were in Walmart, and we were in the car parts section, and I got this funnel, and he was wearing gym shorts, like he does. And I like put the funnel in his butt, and he was like, oh, hey man, I don't play like that, man. Oh. And he like turned around, and he was all hard and stuff, not boner wise, but like, like fucked up. And he looks at me, and then I'm smiling. I'm like, dude, do you remember who you're talking to? Like, you're with the silliest guy in your life. Like, calm down. There's no alpha stuff that has to go down. He got a funnel in the butt that day, and he still hasn't got me back. Shout out to Mike. When you have one habit that inebriates you, it's not a good idea to replace it with a habit that's inebriates you stronger. And you can definitely go down the rabbit hole of just drinking too much and being that guy. You don't want to be that guy who's like I remember I went over to Alex's one time, and that's when I was drinking heavy, and I crack out the little bottle, and Alex I hear him sigh like, nobody wants to be around the drunk guy. But that guy was a fucking wizard, because who else gets a tattoo like that? And me and Mike ended up leaving the mall and yada yada yada. I don't really remember the rest, but don't bring me out in public, man. I'm not gonna make a fool out of you, but I might make a fool out of me or some innocent bystander. Not so much anymore, because I know how to control my social anxiety a little better than I did when I was 21, 22. Shout out to Robbie Drunkard. A lot of memories we won't remember, Shout out to Nick. That's it. That was the quest for this week, 6/11/21. My brothers are coming. Like I said, this will be my last solo quest for a while. They're going to be somewhere in the background. I'm really excited for them to come, man. That's my family. My dad's family's from California. Then he moved to Missouri, met my mother. We moved out here to South Carolina. So I don't have any cousins or uncles or aunts or aunts or whatever you say it. Like, I don't have any of that. It's just like I don't have any grandma's house to go to. Like, it was just us. And then, when they went to Florida, now it's just me. So it's good to have all three boys in the same state again. As of next Thursday, I'm going to go pick them up from the airport, punch Eli in the face as soon as I see him. And just hug the shit out of them. Just love on them and fucking clean out their ears like they need to have it, or need to have them cleaned out rather. And I'm ranting. Do you guys want to hear the new buttons? I got some new buttons for you guys. I don't know. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like every time I'm like, hello, hello, what's up, guys? Oh, thank you for watching the Quest. I always think of the Denny's guy, like when they had the the mosh pit in Denny's.
What's up? What's up? What the fuck's up, Denny's?
I love that. Dude, Pete Weber or Pete Weber, however you say his name. Dude. Who do you think you are? I am. What a powerful fucking sentence that is. That's for the imagination. Now on DVD, The Quest. Dude. Now coming to DVD. Oh, dude. We're out here on a Friday night. This is episode 22. Thank you guys for being here. Any comments that you guys want to leave about questions? Let me know what you guys think about Shelly Belly. Link in bio for all her details. I'm officially a Paul boy. Robbie Paul. Episode 22. Robbie Paul. And I will see you guys next week, okay? And I'll see you later.